down 1,000 times. I ain't going nowhere. Yeah, I'm standing right here. Demons all around, but I ain't got no fear.
All right, guys, welcome to the show. We've got a big one here for you. We are talking about volume vultures. We've got 10 of them. These guys are the ball hogs, the volume vultures, the guys that get the most volume. Now, big names here. It's a big show, and guess who is back? He's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Let's give him a round of applause and a big one here for Tim, aka the Bald Man. Tim, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Tim, welcome. And if you guys are in the car, you are missing his face. So go over to the YouTube channel, Fantasy Football Counselor, and check it out, guys. He is on the show. Tim, where have you been? We miss you, man.
Well, first of all, nobody cares about the face, okay? I mean, this fat face means nothing. I brought the guns out. I don't know if you can see them on the current shot, but damn, boom, boof.
Dude, you've been lifting, bro. I don't even
yeah. Do you even lift, bro?
Do you lift? Okay, do you arms or legs more? What are you doing a little bit more?
I don't lift. You crazy? I'm an old man.
We can tell, Tim.
That's it.
You're young. But are you ready for this? We're doing volume vultures, Tim.
I like it. It's a good episode. It's not one we've really done before. I mean, we kind of talk about these guys in different ways, but this doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be top fantasy guys, and we'll get to that later. But some of these guys will get the bulk of the work on their team. It's just their team is such garbage that I don't expect great things from them overall.
All right, we got 10 big names. We're going to talk about them. They're the guys you want to target because they're primed for a ton of volume. And now there is guys in the earlier rounds that aren't as volume vulture-y because they may be in a committee or there's different situations. Tim's got 5. I've got 5 ready to dive into this. I'm excited for this big show here. Happy Monday, everybody. And it is 4th of July weekend. There is a promo code going right now for the 16-round draft solution. Now, if you're in the car, the code is USA. Now, that code is going to be good for up until the end of the 4th of July. So July 5th, that code is done. You're going to save yourself a good percentage. Now, if you guys, this is already expired, listening to this in August, use the code SMASH to save. The sleepers, breakouts, optimal players drafted each round. 16 rounds is the solution. Help you guys crush your leagues. Secure the solution, secure the championship. If it's up until July 5th, use the code USA for a big savings. If it's past that, also use the code SMASH. So we got 2 codes. One expires after 4th of July. Tim, are you ready for the 4th of July festivities? Do you have your flag out? Are you waving it? Are you excited?
No, right now I'm wearing it underneath my pants.
You're wearing the under.
I'm not going to take it off and start waving it yet. I got to get a few beers into me.
I'm sure people do not want to see it. Definitely not. All right, volume vultures, guys, subscribe, thumbs up, and drop a comment below. Who do you think is a big-time volume vulture, and are you going to draft that player? First one, Tim, who do you got as a big-time volume vulture, someone who's going to get a ton of volume? Now, we're not talking about goal line vultures. We're not talking about those backups that steal the volume. We are talking about guys that are primed for a ton of workload, minimal committee, nobody's getting in the way. Who is the first person you got here, Tim?
Right, like I said, in this case, it does not have negative connotations towards it. Normally, vultures are guys that are stealing work. In this case, we're just saying ball hogs. These guys are going to get the ball a lot. First off, obvious, maybe you would say a Concheapsis call, but that's what this episode is kind of going to be, really. Justin Jefferson.
Absolutely. He is primed for volume, and that's the big thing. Nobody else is there. They brought in Jordan Addison. They drafted Jordan Addison. Hawkinson's there. There is some other guys that are going to be there, but he is the guy. He's going to get the volume. Barring any type of injury, Tim, Justin Jefferson is primed for a ton of workload. That's the only thing that's going to slow him down is injury at this point. Like, there's no reason to say that he's going to decline in any way. Injury is the only thing that could really stop him. That's it. It's the same situation as last year, other than bringing in Addison, but then Thielen is gone. Addison moves in the young rookie dynamic. That's it, man. I mean, Jefferson's a no-brainer plug-and-play first-round pick. Again, absolutely. But in the back of my mind, you know me, I'm a negative Nancy, negative Ned, or whatever you want to call it. I always think, man, he's always been too perfect for the past couple of years. Maybe injuries coming. I'm not wishing on it. You can't think like that. I know.
He's so young, too, man. You got to give this guy a few years of not being injured.
Absolutely. I think he's primed, but again, I still think, Jamar... Listen, yeah. What are you saying?
Injury can screw any one of these guys, right? So I don't want to mention it for every single one of them. And some of these guys are a little more injury prone. Justin Jefferson has had nothing so far. He's golden boy. Everything's great. Like you say, Thielen is gone. those Thielen numbers, they'll be spread around a little bit. Like I say, Hawkinson's still there.
Right.
Cook is gone. Madison's in. There's a lot of little changes, but I don't expect any kind of negative drop off in his numbers at all. If anything, maybe a slight increase, but he's already proven that he's top dog.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, now people are going to be listening to this show and they're going to be saying, "Oh, thanks, Captain Obvious. We know these guys are top getters." We're making you aware of them because sometimes there's people in earlier rounds that may not get that same amount of volume, or they may be in a committee. Or like, for example, Travis Etienne, I think he's coming off second or third round. They drafted Tank Bigsby. Bigsby could be the guy that's going to get a ton of that volume. Etienne had his chance last year. I think he finished like 17th around running backs. He had over 220 attempts-ish. And, he had his opportunity to be a full workhorse, and he never really did it. So these guys are the cream of the crop, the guys that get a ton of volume. So I want to emphasize that they are primed for a ton of volume. All right, I'm going to go with mine here, Tim. I got to do a drum roll here because I really love this guy. Now, we talked about this before the show. You're not as high on it.
Especially after what you just said to finish off my guy.
What?
Give him your name, give him your story, and then I'm going to rip into you.
Okay, I want to see what it is. So, I got to drum roll this, Tim. Here you go. Bye, Jan Robinson. I love him. Now, let me make a point here. Where's my note sheet? I have notes. Where's my notepad here? Who was it? Tyler Algier. Here's my notepad. How many did Tyler? Algier had 210 attempts last year, Tim. 210.
Yeah. And almost 1,000 yards.
And you're going to say he's still there.
And
right?
Cordarrelle is still there. And the team sucks. And they have Desmond Ridder. Like, we're talking about vultures. This is a rookie coming in that you have no business saying could potentially be a vulture.
Well, this is the debate. This is the excitement. This is okay. So listen to this. Hear me out. Hear my case. I want to create a compelling case here. So you've got every player in round one that's got, you got Jefferson, Jamar Chase. You got a lot of guys that feel really warm and fuzzy, but there's guys with question marks. Example, this is not a players to avoid show. Christian McCaffrey, for example, right? He was injured in 2020, 2021, had a pinnacle last hurrah year last year, possible decline this year. I think so, right? I'm not sold that he's going to finish the year injury prone before. Everyone's kind of got question marks. We got Eckler, right? Who has saw an amazing amount of targets last year, 127, which put him 17th in targets amongst wide receivers. He was tied with Mike Evans last year. Offensive coordinator shipped off that was feeding him. They brought in a new rookie wide receiver. I think things are going to change. Everybody's got question marks. So the question mark here is Bijan. They call him Bijan. Okay, by the way, that's a whole other topic. We're going to talk about the name in a second because everyone's going to be in the comments saying, call him Bijan. Okay, I get it. We're going to debate this in a second, Tim. I want your opinion on it. So when you look at him, listen, you don't draft a guy 8th overall, first round. If you sit him, talent rises to the top. I know Algier was good, but he's not going to be the guy. As good as he did, he got stabbed in the back by the team. Bijan is the guy. And again, everyone's got question marks. I'm going with the young upside rookie. It is a bit of a gamble, but I think he's going to be primed for a minimum of 220 attempts, 12 touchdowns, and at least 1,400 to 1,500 yards on the ground if given that volume. Obviously, yes, you said question marks with Ridder. I love him, Tim. I'm not going to be questioning this. I'm wearing the shirt. Look.
But this is a vulture show, and you're going with an unproven rookie that is on a team with 2 other capable running backs. And a questionable starting quarterback. That's why I'm giving you the business on this one. Yeah. He doesn't belong in this list.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about Patterson. He came in as a receiver in the league, had some good run, had a good decent run with the Falcons. His time is done. I think, I'm not sold on him being a factor. But Algier, again, I don't think he's a threat. He was drafted 3rd, 4th round last year. They obviously want that true workhorse running back. And again, Algier could come in on 3rd downs. But I do believe talent rises, and they're going to be using their best player. I think, like I said, I think the volume will be there. But yes, you're right. There's definitely reason to question a full workload, but I think he's going to get a full workload, though. Huge.
I want you to remember some of the crap that you say when it comes back to my next guy, because we've already talked a little bit about this one off camera, and I said to you, you know what? Save the argument for on camera. So the crap that you just said about your pick is actually going to go totally against you in the next one. So
hold on. Does this need a drum roll?
No, it's not worthy.
You're going to get one anyway. You're getting a drum roll.
You're happy on these keys.
What is it?
I want you to do more of the clown whistle. Okay, so Tony Pollard. And
What?
the first thing you're going to say is Deuce Vaughn. And I'm going to say, are you friggin' kidding me?
Deuce
He was
Vaughn,
drafted 250th, and
I
you
don't
think
care.
he's going to come in and interrupt Tony Pollard, who took a little time, but did take over for one of the biggest, strongest, baddest mothers ever.
Hold on. Are you buying into the Concheap's hype that this guy's a top 8 guy?
There's no such thing as Concheap's hype on this guy. He's taken his time to come up to where he is. It's taken him a
Yes.
couple years, but he is proven. He knocked Zeke off the team. How
Oh.
can you say this 250th pick is going to come in and steal the thunder of Pollard now?
All
Not a friggin' chance.
So the YouTube audience has you in full screen mode. We got to upgrade your camera, by the way, and we're gonna play a song for you. Have you? We're gonna play the.
I'm
Concheap's-
okay with this, man, because you're going to eat your words.
We're playing the
Deuce
Concheap's.
Vaughn isn't going to touch Pollard.
Okay, but we're actually playing the Concheap's song in full force, in full screen.
It's my jam at the clubs. I'm out there looking at the ladies. Sorry, I don't go for the guys, but nothing wrong with that. If I see a nice butt, I might point it out. That's about it.
You're a ladies' man, Tim. That's for sure. Okay, so here we go. So Tony Pollard, yes, he is in a position to succeed. I obviously Deuce Vaughn. If you guys don't know who he is, very small. He's got to be what 5'5".
I think he was listed at 5'5", but 180 pounds. So I mean, on a 5'5" frame, that's a big dude.
Yeah, but the scrimmage yards, Tim, he had, I think it was 22 last year, more than by Jan Robinson. And you got to take a look at this guy was drafted, yes, later, undrafted, whatever. It doesn't matter. Who's nobody cares. Very late. That's what it seemed like. But this guy, his dad was
Is a scout.
the top
Is that, like-
the Cowboys. They're gonna
Dude, that
politics.
should be a red flag, though, not a
do you mean?
benefit. Your dad's a scout on the same team, and you get drafted 250. Like, come on, Joe,
Listen,
put the pieces together.
Okay, so there's another thing you got to be aware of, right? Zeke, I don't know if they're going to bring him back. Very unlikely. There's other free agents. Kareem Hunt's lingering around. Dalvin Cook, which I don't think he'll end up on the Cowboys. There's already talk with Miami, but at the time I was recording, I just don't believe that literally that he's going to be a workload because, again, it took years to get to this point. And he got hurt last year. Not 190.
Only a couple years. Only a couple. And
He's
behind
going
one of the...
year. He's going
And
to
like
his fifth year.
Yeah, but it's only really taken him 2 to knock Zeke out of the picture. He really didn't get used until 2 years ago.
He's going into his 5th year, Tim.
That's fine.
Fifth year.
It doesn't matter. Dude, that would be like saying Saquon Barkley's backup is crap and he'll never amount to anything. Like, that's kind of where Pollard was. Well, you're right about it because right now he is garbage. But Pollard has worked his way to knock Zeke out of the company.
I'm not. So I think that he's going to be this year's DeAndre Swift. Ironically, he's sitting where DeAndre Swift sat last year, which was around 8th in PPR amongst running backs. I'm not sold. Again, you could go ahead and draft Pollard. He was a backup for years. The only anomaly to this that was a guy that was a backup for years that really prevailed was Eckler. He's kind of broken that mold. I don't see backups, especially guys that have been backups for 4 years, come out and take that full workload. And with Zeke having over 200 attempts last year, Pollard had 193 and he still got hurt. It was like a fibula broken or whatever it was. I'm not sold on Pollard. I'm not buying it. But yes, as it sits right now, theoretically, he should and could be a volume vulture.
Yeah.
He's going to get a ton of volume on paper. So,
And that's what this is about. This isn't necessarily about finishing top 10 or anything like that, although I do believe Pollard will do that. But this is about vulturing or ball hogging, whatever you want to call it. I think Pollard deserves it. He will definitely be one of the biggest getters on the team.
all right, I'm going to drum roll my next one here.
No, come on. Enough with the sound effects.
All right, where you're getting a magic twinkle then.
Yeah, give me something different. Oh, yeah.
Very, very Wayne's World, eh?
Yes.
For that. All right. Next guy I'm talking about is Jonathan Taylor. Now, obviously, last year got hurt. I told you to be careful. There was going to be a decline because the year that he crushed it was 2021, 330 attempts. Now, that's the year that Derrick Henry got hurt. Henry only played 8 games that season in 2021 because these guys could have been neck to neck in regards to who would have been first in regards to volume and attempts. 330 attempts, guys. That is a volume vulture. He gets it. There's no committee there. The only problem here, Tim, that I have with Taylor this year is this offense and Anthony Richardson at quarterback. He is a running quarterback. That is my concern. So you expect this quarterback to steal potentially a lot of goal line work, a lot of running opportunities. That is my concern. But when you look at it from a volume perspective and him being the man, Taylor's the man, and it's going to be a bounce back year. So first round, talent is there, and it's a contract year, Tim. So I'm excited for him. Volume, opportunity. I mean, I don't think there's a debate here, is there?
I think you're right on the volume, and I still was on the Jonathan Taylor train last year because I knew that there was a change in quarterback, but he was by far the best thing on their offense, especially after all the crap they went through. However, little injury, yes. His numbers were still decent, but the touchdowns were probably going to be way down. I expect the touchdowns to be down again. So, again, we're not talking about where he's going to finish, top 10, top 15, whatever. Volume getter, absolutely. I can't argue with you about that. Would I spend high capital on him at this point? No. I'm thinking he's a second round, maybe even third round pick.
Yeah, absolutely. All right,
I just don't see the overall numbers being there.
He's going to be a first round pick. I like him as a top first round pick, but you made some good points. I think the volume is going to be there. He is the guy I like. I like him ahead of Eckler and CMC this year. You may not agree with that, but no, I do.
I can't see him getting the touchdowns to make him a top point getter. I do see the volume. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Next one again. My next one, another no-brainer. I mean, you guys are going to say, play the Conchipsa song again, but whatever. Jamar Chase.
No, he's a volume guy. He's gonna. I think he beats, no. I mean, it's a common sense thing, But we have to know that I think this guy supersedes Jefferson this year because this guy was a top 12 guy, only 12 games, and I don't know if you know this, Tim. Maybe some people don't, but contract year for Joe Burrow. I mean, these guys are going to feast this year. This is going to be a good year, barring any type of injury, really.
Yeah, and listen, T. Higgins is there, and T. Higgins is great, but Jamar Chase is the man there. And him and Burrow go back to college as well together. So they've got that camaraderie. They've got it clicking. Everything's good with these guys. Again, let's not talk injury. So Jamar Chase, full year, going to be one of the highest receiving yards.
Yeah, I'm not going to debate this at all. I love him. I love him ahead of Jefferson. And if I do go wide receiver round 1, he is the man. My next guy here, Tim. Okay, so I have some question marks. Tell me what you're feeling gut-wise in regards to this. Derrick Henry is the next guy here. Absolutely love him. Love the talent. Last year, I mean, he was the main guy, number 1 in attempts. Across, 349 attempts, untouchable, 1,500 yards, 13 touchdowns. But I got to ask, they brought in Tajay Spears. Tajay Spears was actually a workhorse in college. So they're almost kind of like building like their next Derrick Henry, I would say, kind of. I mean, it's hard to top the king, obviously, but I do love Derrick Henry this year. The problem is there's this little seed in the back of my head. Like, he had a bad 2021, like I said, 8 games. 2022, I knew he'd bounce back, loved him last year, but can he sustain another year of full 350 attempts? That's where I'm just like, I'm on the fence. Is he going to have one last hurrah, big year, tons of volume, or does Tajay Spears start coming in, getting integrated, and then Henry start fading off into the sunset, into his twilight years or sunset years? I don't feel as warm and fuzzy as I did last year, Tim. How are you feeling about Henry?
Once again, like you say, it is hard to argue against the king. I mean, I've been against him before a few years ago when he wasn't a receiving back, so he wasn't going to put up the big numbers. But that's kind of the problem with him as well. And you might be right. They might be bringing in the new guy to start looking at replacing Henry. This guy has taken a pounding over the last 4 or 5 years. You can only get hit that many times, you can only get hit so many times before the body starts saying, you know what, man, I'm done. I need a rest. And that's what's going to start happening with Henry. Believe me, the guy is a beast. He is a monster of a human being, but your body can only take so much. So if he's got it for one more year, great. I'm happy for him. I mean, I wish him all the success, but eventually that body is going to start saying, I'm just done and can't handle it anymore.
Absolutely. And again, this is one of those years, again, I have to recommend him at the end of the first round. That's where he's going. Again, if I can avoid him, I'm trying to go by Jan Taylor. I just think their ceiling is higher, younger, contract year. That's what kind of excites me. With Henry, we've seen what we've seen. Is it sustainable is the big question. Something in my gut is telling me I don't feel as good about him as I did last year. But again, we're going to have to see. Time's going to tell for sure.
Henry's going to get the attempts. He's going to get the touchdowns. He's going to get everything he needs to, barring injury as usual. It's hard to argue against him, man. So even a late first round pick with Henry is absolutely a no-brainer. He's still that guy. He's still the beast.
All right, Tim, I got the next one for you. Instead of a twinkle, instead of a drum roll, you're going to get something interesting. A breaking news. Breaking news. All right.
This
Tim, the next one on your list is
Nick Chubb.
Actually, Tim, I don't know if you could see it on the screen. I actually wrote Nick Chubby. Like, does he on? Because I don't know if you know Gwen. We have Gwen on the show now. Yeah. She's helping with the show. I asked her, is she like Chubby? She said, I'm not a guy, but if I was a guy, he'd give me a chubby. So as a guy, is Nick Chubby for fantasy perspective giving you a chubby?
Wow. I don't know. Can we take this there? You know me, like I don't like to block anything. I like to just throw crap out there. So I got so many things I could say about this.
Let's keep it PG-13. No,
she's got a lady chub for Chubb. Can you say that? I mean, that's okay. Listen, I mean, we used to always argue against him and saying Kareem Hunt was there. It's going to be a split backfield, blah, blah, blah. Hunt's going to get a lot of the receiving. Yeah. Chubb's still not going to get a lot of receiving, although he's proven to be getting better at it. But even still, absolutely a dominant running back. Going to see the majority of the carries, if not all the carries. I mean, he is the man there. There's no arguing it.
Yeah, so you're all in on Nick Chubb. No Kareem Hunt. I mean, his value is good. I should try to say value. Value, volume, vultures. There you go. I mean, value, end of first round. I mean, not bad,
He's 1,500 plus yards easily, double-digit touchdowns. Let's just see if he can increase it a little bit more even now that Hunt's gone.
Now, the only thing you got to be concerned about here, Tim, obviously, is Watson running. And Watson's coming off a ton of... I know you get massages too, Tim. Maybe not quite like Watson's massages. He was all massaged out. So is Watson going to be playing atop of his game? Is he going to be goal line vulturing a lot of stuff? Possibly. But Chubby's still the man.
He's going to put in some of those short ones, absolutely. But Chubb can run off the 5 to 8 yard ones, no problem.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I hope Nick Chubb stays there. Like, as the main guy, they don't bring in another guy. They drafted a rookie. I don't know how much they're going to integrate him. He looked average on the tape I saw. Anyway, Chubb's prime for a ton of workload. Bottom line.
If Joe's talking good things about Chubb, I mean, Joe has been kind of against him the last 3 years. So you guys know if Joe's talking or singing his praises, it's a good year for Chubb.
And again, that was the big debate. The big debate was, for me, what I was arguing about is Kareem Hunt was there, and he was equally as good, and he was stealing all the volume. It was always a 50-50 split. This is a chance for Chubb to run wild, and I don't know. I like him, man. I think he could have a good year, so we'll see.
He definitely should.
All right, Magical Twinkle. Next guy, Amon-Ra St. Brown. There you go. went right with the music. Amon-Ra, man, listen, Jameson Williams... going to be suspended. Off-field stuff again. I think it was the betting. All these players betting now. It's crazy. Everyone's betting on games. I saw Isaiah Rodgers, the cornerback for the Colts, recently got in trouble. A bunch of other guys. Ridley, a couple years ago. Everybody seems to be betting on games. A lot of weird stuff going on. But either way, Amon-Ra St. Brown is primed for a ton of workhorse volume. Not workhorse, workload. Targets are there. Last year, 8th in targets, 146, 6 touchdowns. Love to see it. I want to see his touchdowns go up a little bit. But again, Williams isn't coming back till week 7. I like this. I mean, they brought in Jahmyr Gibbs, who looks like an ultra explosive running back. They drafted him. Love Jahmyr Gibbs. Montgomery's going to be there to vulture some from him in a different way, goal line vulture wise. Listen, Amon-Ra is the main target for Goff. What you see is what you get. These guys they got the connection. They're going to thrive together. I don't see any issue here. He's a 2nd round pick. Tons of upside. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Love him. I don't know what to say.
Definitely. I can't argue with you at all on him. He's definitely going to be the ball getter, the hog, the vulture on the team. I still think he might be lucky, and this ain't the episode, but top 10 if he's lucky. Only because of the lack of touchdowns. I'm not sold on that. The volume by far is going to be there, not a concern.
Yeah, 1,100 yards last year. I mean, the rapport is there. It's not like Goff is this rookie coming in. You get that security of that and that connection constantly going. Love it.
I'm just not thrilled with the team overall, so that's what keeps him a little lower on my overall points list.
All right, Tim, I love the next one. I'm putting it up before I even cue it up, but I got to put it up here because I love this guy. I'm high on him, and he's 4th round value. He's a true RB1, I think. Who is it, Tim?
You were pretty high on him last year, and I wasn't. Now I can say definitely the volume should be there for Mr. Dameon Pierce.
Dameon Pierce.
However, this just in, Houston is a show.
Yeah. Houston does suck.
They absolutely suck, but that's all the more reason why Pierce is going to be the man. So
yeah,
that's all this episode's about, baby. That's what it is. His touchdowns are still going to be weak because the team sucks, but his numbers other than that will be amazing.
Love him. Love the upside. They brought in Singletary. I'm not concerned about Singletary. Years to wow us, we're not wowed. He may come in for 3rd down, some receptions, stuff like that. But Dameon's the man, runs with heart, runs strong. If they want to win, they got to play their best guy. That's it.
You got it.
Now, obviously, question marks at the wide receiver. They drafted Tank Dell. They got Nico Collins. They got question marks. Are the wide receivers going to be good enough to spread the defense back, open things up for Dameon, or is he going to see stacked boxes? It's the only issue. Rookie quarterback, question marks. But when you look at it from a volume perspective, you got to feed Dameon, one of the best players on that crappy team. I don't know how else to say it, Tim.
That's it, man. That's all it is.
Now, I got one more here for you. Before we do that, let's talk about names real quick. I want your opinion. By Jan Robinson, okay? And here's the thing. Dameon Pierce is actually not Dameon Pierce, someone was saying. It's Dameon Pierce.
Dameon. You say tomato, I say tomato. There are some names when they're that close. You got to let it slide, guys.
But see, by Jan, the thing is, like, they say that's how he wants it pronounced. But it's by, I see by, and then Jan, Jan, like as in ran, Jan, and then bi as in bi-weekly. And they're saying Bijan as in Dijon mustard. Like, I don't see B in there. I don't see B-E-E, and I don't see Jean as in the even if it's French, it's not J-E-A-N.
I was going to say, he's not from the Louisiana, is he?
No, no,
he's not a Bijan.
He's not from Montreal. He's not related to George St. Pierre.
Oui.
Nothing like that. He just... Again, I see by Jan. I'm sticking with it, but every time I say it, people are in the comments saying you're disrespecting him. No, you're disrespecting him for saying it wrong. It's by Jan.
Wait a minute, though. If the player himself tells you how his name is said, it is disrespectful to not. How would you like it if people started calling you Yohip?
Yohip.
Yohip. Yeah, because your name is a J. It's a Yo. Yohip.
Actually, it should be Joseph, technically. Joseph, right?
Exactly. So you can't argue with him, man. I mean, if he wants to be Bijan, it's Bijan. It's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm wearing his shirt. I'm representing him. He's my first overall pick. I'm all in on him this year.
Then respect the man enough to say his name properly.
No, I refuse to do it. No, I'm sticking to my guns. It's a George Costanza thing.
I think you just like the fact that it's by.
Yeah, by Jen.
Can't say that. Gonna be canceled now. Jesus Christ.
Bi-weekly. Yes.
Bi-weekly. Right. Yes, that's what I meant. Bi-weekly.
All right. Last one here. Are we on the last one already?
We are, man.
All right. Garrett Wilson. All right. That rhymes, eh? Carrot?
Yes, it does, Joe. You're pretty quick that way.
Garrett. All right. Let's talk about it. Everybody's saying that they love him. I love him too. This is where I'm jumping on with the Concheapsis. Aaron Rodgers, new team. Now, I am a little bit questioning this whole new team, Aaron Rodgers. We saw what happened to Russell Wilson on a new team. I got to question it. 147 targets last year with crappy quarterbacks. Who do you have, like Zach Wilson, a bunch of other bums thrown to him, right? Listen, 1,100 yards last year, 4 touchdowns. That's going to go up. Aaron Rodgers has already compared him to Devontae Adams. Is he going to be Devontae Adams' caliber? Maybe. I don't know. We don't know. He's still young. But the fact that he thrived with crappy quarterbacks, now he gets Aaron Rodgers, that's a big upgrade. You got Brees the Beast coming back from injury. I love him too. Tons of upside coming off from that knee injury. You might be concerned that there might be some question marks there on how well he's going to do. But if you got Brees the Beast, going to distract the linebackers, the guys up front, may open things up for Garrett Wilson. I like this offense, man. Love the ceiling, love the upside. He's going to be primed for a ton of volume. There's nobody else there. They got rid of Elijah Moore last year. he's the man. You know,
Okay.
I don't know. That's it. I love this. I love it.
You're not mentioning one piece of the puzzle though that's
What's
kind
that?
of missing in your equation,
What's that?
and that's Lazard is there now as well.
Ah, he sucks. He had the opportunity to shine last year. Years to wow us. We're not.
Him and Rogers were pretty good together, so he's
he-
coming in and he's not going to allow Garrett to just run
no,
away with
he
it.
sucks. He sucks. Lazard is trash. Trash player.
Rogers is going to target him a fair amount of times. Maybe not as much as Wilson. I will say I do believe that Garrett Wilson is still going to be the volume getter here,
Yeah.
but Lazard is still going to be there in the background, taking a fair number of catches.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I'm not sold on him. Yeah, he'll get his targets, but not enough to deter this guy from being a volume vulture, which I love him. A second round, love him. If you want a Monra, a safe guy, you go. If you want a safe guy in round 2, a Monra. If you want a guy that's got a higher ceiling, you'll Garrett Wilson. Love him, Tim. Love him.
Yeah, I like him. I mean, the first thing I said was agreed, and then I said, although Rogers and Lazard.
There you have it.
Oh my God.
The Volume Vulture show is complete. Tim, we got a lot in today, man, and I know a lot of people are excited to see you back. Hopefully we see you a lot more. You know, you're a camera guy. What can I say?
I'm here, man. It's just, yeah, when things work out that I can get on camera, we'll do it. And if not, I'm still here, guys. I'm always here trying to smack Joe upside the head and tell him to think right and do things proper. Now, let me ask you, I got a couple guys here that I wanted to make side notes on, and I just want to see where you lie with these couples. So we'll throw a little in at the end here. What do you think of Adam Thielen this year?
Adam Thielen. I don't care for him. I just, again, where I lost respect and people are like, oh, well, whatever, Joe, he lost respect. I lost respect when he lost his job to Jefferson. You're like, oh, because Jefferson's amazing. No, I don't like it when wide receivers are getting older and then a rookie comes in and takes their job and they're on a new team. I don't like it. I don't like it.
What do you think about him on this particular team, though, with Bryce Young throwing to him? I mean, could it be that Bryce Young is, oh my God, I was in college, I was in high school when Thielen was amazing, so I'm gonna try to throw the ball to him. That's amazing. I love it. So that's kind of my thing. I think he's gonna have a little bit of a resurgence, and we've seen it. Thielen's always been that guy to get touchdowns. He's always been able to get open in the end zone or to get it to the end zone. I think he's going to have a relatively good year this year. I don't think he's going to be top 10, obviously. I think top 20 is a stretch maybe, but I think he's going to have a pretty decent year.
Give me as a sleeper Jonathan Mingo, one of the top prospects at wide receiver that was drafted by them. So maybe a Mingo could do well. I'm gonna lingo with Mingo over the washed up Thielen. Give me the young talent because we already know Thielen's lost his job to young talent before. I'm going Mingo if I'm going later rounds. You can go Thielen. I know he could be a safe, solid guy that could be a safety blanket for the rookie quarterback for sure. So again,
I got one more for you. So let's go with another former superstar that went down because of injury, really. Michael Thomas.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy. Some people are saying, oh, he's big upside. They got Olave there, man. And I don't know, man. Like he's done nothing for years. He always gets hurt. But maybe, just maybe, there's a bit of a comeback this year.
Could be that Cinderella story this year. Carr throwing to him.
Yeah, I mean, Olave is really intriguing. The youth, he looked good in his rookie year. He's coming off the third round. He is the young guy. He's on paper, the wide receiver one. Not feeling it. Not feeling Michael Thomas. I know some people are. He's a sleeper, bounce back, this and that. Once you fade off for so many years, it's very unlikely that you're going to come back. That's what I found through experience and history with players. I think he's faded off. He's never coming back. He's the Colin Kaepernick of wide receivers. You know, that's it. He is done. Just done. Just, you know, you just want to keep coming back, and you never will. You're never coming back.
You're always thinking the Michael Thomas from 3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Just give him that shot. He could do it again. And it's possible, but I just wanted to get your opinion on those guys.
Yeah, no problem. All right, that we are out. Tim the Bald Guy. Tim, we're gonna cue out a song here for the outro for you.
If you want to be my lover.
There it is. There it is.
I should come up with a dance to this. I hear it so often.
We're gonna cue out. We're gonna exit with Tim dancing to the Confucius song. This is too much. We are out, guys. Too much. Talk soon. Thanks, Tim. We're out.
Have a good one, everybody.